Hey up, me ducks. How is everybody doing? It looks a little bit dark, doesn't it? I've got lighting set up, but it does look a little bit dark. It's the evening sun. Maybe I should put a big light on. We'll see how we go. But how is everybody? This wasn't announced, so I'm imagining that it will be a little bit quieter than usual for lives because it's midweek. It's a very strange time, but I'm mindful that Chris is live later, and I wanted to jump on so that I could then get my dinner and settle down for the evening. Oh, Kelly, hello. Dark and moody. I know, right? So let's just do a quick hello to everybody that's here. So Jackie was the first in. Nice to see you, Jackie. And we have Frank and Yasamin, Indira, Tortoiseshell Moon, and Kirsten, Kelly. I'm here but won't be able to chat because I'm making dinner. That's all right. I'm going to be making dinner right after this. And what I'm planning on doing is being on for no more than an hour. I just want to, just kind of come on, acknowledge the day, and yeah, just I don't want it to be lengthy because if people are watching it back and it's a tarot tag, they want to kind of hear the responses to the tarot tag. Needless to say, I've got a cuppa, so it's always dangerous. I've got a cuppa and I'm in the mood for chatting, but I'll try and be as succinct as possible. But let's just start off with by saying 5 years, 5 years to the very day, 24th of March, 2017. I sat in front of my laptop pretty much like I am now and attempted to do a response to a tag that was going around at the time called Tarot Tag 15, which was set by Arwen Lynch. Arwen is still, an active member of the Tarot Tube community too. And it was nerve-wracking pressing that record button for the very first time, thinking, what am I doing? Somebody that's very self-conscious, very just not comfortable really being on camera, and it took me a long time to get to that point. And then 5 years later, I don't know how many videos later, I think about 1,400 videos later, I'm still here. And thank you for all the happy Channelversary messages, and to everybody that's coming in. Lovely to see you all. So it's really something, and I never thought back in 2017 when my finger was trembling over pressing the record button that I would be here in 5 years still doing this, and what a journey I was about to embark on, the friendships that I've made. Don't get me wrong, there's been highs, but there's been lows. But overall, the highs are, when they're high, they're very, very high. And there's been some amazing experiences that I've had over the last 5 years, and in particular, the friendships that I've made, both online and in real life, as a result of having this channel. Let me just see if there's any comments before we crack on with the tag. Don't pop in often, but wanted to say hi. Well, hello, Emerald Fern, and I'm glad you did say hi. I, Simon, only joined your channel a few weeks ago and absolutely loving your videos. Well, welcome, Sammy Jane, and that's really nice of you to say. Thank you, and thank you for being here. Kelly Toe Carter, happy Channelversary, 5 years. I know, 5 years. It's Oh, and that's nice. Nancy. Hello, Nancy. Nancy said, so happy you're still making videos, Simon. Me too. And there's, even like I said, when it's had the low moments, even then, I've never felt like, um, oh, maybe I should give it up now, or I have taken breaks, but they've never been really more than perhaps a month, month and a half, something like that, when I've absolutely needed to. Um, Absolutely love enjoying a cuppa and learning more about decks with you. Thank you, Yasmin. That's really nice. And yeah, when I think about how my collection has grown as well, you might be able to see here my tarot collection. Well, part of it anyway, because it goes all the way down to the floor and it goes a lot higher than that. But in 5 years. But that's one of the questions as well that's in this tag. Conrad, how lovely to see you. Your channel is a blessing to us all. Oh, thank you. That's really, really nice. And I'm glad you're able to pop in and say hello. Um, the Gentle Spirit Realm. Love watching your channel. As a relative newbie to tarot, I've learned so much. Oh, well, that's what it's about. Oh, and Stephanie's here. Hello, Stephanie. And Stephanie was somebody that I've met in real life as well on this journey. So, all right. So, as I said, 24th of March 2017, I did my first video. And as I mentioned in a couple of catch up and cards at the weekend, just gone, that was something. But then I was really like, what do I do now? Now I've done that and got it out of the way, because you always focus, don't you, on your first video. I was like, now what do I do? What do I talk about? Uh, but soon got over that. But tags are a great way to start, and I've said this many times. When people have been thinking about dipping their toe in the water, about starting a channel, I always say, do you know what? Find a tag, and it doesn't have to be the tag that's doing the rounds at the moment, because they have become, I won't say less popular, but more few and far between when it comes to tags. And they're not always going to be relevant. I've looked at some tags and thought, no, I haven't really got anything that I can give to that. So I've not done them. Um, but you can find a tag, any tarot tag, if you want to talk about tarot content, and do a response to it. It doesn't matter if it's a year old, 2 years old. When it comes to the internet and tarosphere, then what is time? Makes no difference. And I love to see old tags have a little bit of a resurgence. One that tends to keep going, it was a tag I started, which was Tarot Shelf. And I think I started that in back end of 2017. And that comes around all the time, because it's not time critical. It's just people can respond when they want to. So yeah, Tarot Tubers A to Z was another one I did. And that's a great one if you're wanting to talk about yourself, introduce yourself, your likes, dislikes, and all that sort of thing. So there's some good ones out there if people want to dive in with a tag. It gets you in there. All right. So Armin Lynch, as I said, started this back in 2017, and I thought, yeah, I'm gonna have a go. So this is my response now, 5 years on. And with the exception for one, things change. And this is another reason why it's great to revisit them, because I'm a different person, like we all are, than I was 5 years ago. And actually, my tastes have changed, my reading style has changed, um, who I am in the tarot has changed. So it's nice to go back. Simon, your channel is the one made me love tarot. Your videos, your lovely home and decks was a lovely companion to me when I was going through one of the hardest times in my life from Turkey. That's really nice, and that makes it all worthwhile. When people reach out and say things like that to you, it makes it worthwhile. So thank you for that, and I'm really pleased that it helped in some way. What starts out as just being a little bit of fun sometimes can have quite a profound impact on people. And I can relate to that because other people's channels and content have also helped me through difficult times as well. So lovely to see everybody who's filing in. Really nice to see you all here. So, are we ready? And play along, as I answer these questions. If there's ones, if you want to contribute, type your responses into, hi Patsy, type your responses into the, I'm blanked out, into the comment section. All right, so the first question, what is your current favorite deck? And I'm glad it says current because everybody who knows me or has watched my channel will know that this little beauty is my all-time favorite deck ever. It's my soul deck. It's never going to change. I know that. I know people say never, but it's the Blushing Fool. And this isn't in order. It's just that the Blushing Fool is on top. But this is my ride or die. This is my to grab a deck in an emergency and get out of the building. This is it. And if every other deck went up in flames, as long as I've got this, I would be okay. But if we're talking about current favourite decks, this is a soul deck, and that's never going to change. But we have decks that come in all the time, don't we? That we think, oh, I'm really loving this at the moment. It doesn't mean that your soul deck isn't still your soul deck. We're just enjoying exploring other decks that are new to us and we're connecting to them, and they become what's called current favourites. So, Tarot of the Abyss, that's a good one, Caroline. Hello, Caroline, by the way. SEN says, I remember finding this channel when I had doubts which RWS from the Scarabeo I bought, the Dirty Pam. Yes, and that's helped a lot of people. It's one of the most popular videos I've put out, which I think it's called Dirty Pam Confusion, about how they all changed. And there's been a kind of an update recently as well, since the Total Tarot magazine's been released and how you can get the Dirty Pam in its original form again. But I know that people overseas can't, so that's a bit of a sore subject, really. So, current favourite decks. So I've got two. The lovely Sinead from the channel Hazel Jane Tarot. Hazel Jane, all one word. I met Sinead last year at the Tarot meetup in Glastonbury, and she just didn't say anything. I just got a knock on the door a few days ago, and my neighbour said, oh, I took a parcel in for you. And she sent me Tarot de Saint Croix, and I was thrilled because this is probably the deck. This and probably Playful Heart Tarot is the deck that's been on my indie wish list for the longest time. And I love it. I sat and edged it last night, actually, in the same orange as the borders on the front and the back. It's a perfect match. It's, if you're wondering, if you've got this deck and you want to edge it, it's Winsor and Newton, bright orange. In fact, I will show it you because it's still next to where I sat from last night. So bright orange or orange brilliance. Number 0177. And it's the pro markers because then you get a chisel tipped end. And it is spot on for Tarot de Saint Croix. But I love, oh, look at that for the Hierophant. And the death card, look at the death card. So this is, and I didn't know if I'd ever get it. I try not to buy at the moment from overseas just because of all the expense. Unless I'm really, I've got to have it. So with this being sent as a gift, I mean, it makes it even more special, doesn't it, when you receive a deck as a gift because someone sat there and thought, I think Simon might appreciate this. You think that's really, really sweet. So, and I love gifting decks as well. But yeah, the artwork in this is incredible, and it's a really powerful deck. I love it. So, Tarot de Saint Croix, Simon, I'm also been in love with the Lion's Gateway Tarot too. Lion's Gateway is beautiful. I was so thrilled to be gifted the third edition and then the first edition, which I can't decide between the two, which I like. So that's the first current favourite, but also a current favourite. Since I did its unboxing, it's on my table and I've used it loads, is the Location Tarot Spirit of Place. This is gorgeous. I mean, look at that gilded as well. Oh, it's probably too, there we go. The backs are beautiful with the greeny gold stamping. But if you haven't seen the walkthrough of this, you don't see, on looking, first of all, you don't see the archetype until you turn the card. It's not going to show on this camera, but they appear. There you can see our High Priestess. But to the naked eye, it's very clear. So yeah, it's just gorgeous. And you look at it at first and you think, well, that could be anywhere. And then you tilt it and you see that it's the Temperance card. But again, this isn't the best camera for this. The Devil. Oh, you can see him quite clear there. So I'm loving it. But I'm loving it for just sitting and looking at the images and just seeing the landscape where these are set. I mean, look at this. This is our Two of Cups. But look how beautiful. And then they appear. But again, quite difficult on how magical. It is magical, isn't it? So there we go. That's my current favourite deck. So Tarot de Saint Croix and a Location Spirit of Place Tarot. Question 2 is, what tarot card do you think stands for who you are now? No surprises, because I've talked about it before. I'll get my little tarot scrapbook out. Because who I am in the tarot is the Page of Cups. That's the card that I feel represents who I am now. Just somebody who really goes on their gut instincts a lot. Although I'll come on to why I kind of want to improve that. And going right where my heart tells me to go as well. You know, it represents new beginnings, dreams coming to life, following inner guidance, youthful essence. I like to think that I'm quite youthful. My body tells me otherwise a lot of the times, but yeah, I'm not one of these people that thinks, well, I'm a certain age now, so I should behave that way. I've never really done that. Sensitive, quite naive, emotional intelligence, which, you know, my EQ is higher than my IQ. I'm quite proud to say that. But yeah, and I think that, you know, having that sort of quality really, really helps you, particularly if you're in a position like with work where you're leading people and stuff like that. But the next question is, yes, Page of Cups. The next question is, what tarot card do you think stands for who you want to be? So the Page of Cups is who I feel I am, but who do I want to be? And it's no stretch, but it's the King of Cups. Because as I said before, you know, when we look at the King of Cups, I want to have a better of awareness of human nature. I am somebody who's very trusting, And I like that. I don't want to be one of these people who, is very sort of judgy or too cautious. But sometimes um, I allow I allow my heart to rule a little bit too much. And the King of Cups is somebody who's more in control of their emotions, and checks their emotions as well, whereas the Page doesn't so much. Um, so rather than just going on your gut feeling and your emotions, the King is somebody that kind of balances that out and puts it in check, and thinks about, well, let's just dig a little bit deeper. The King of Cups as well is somebody who is very, very aware of what their limitations are. And I'm not always aware. And again, there's a balance there because we don't want to hold ourselves back. But I think the king more is aware of their limitations in a sense that they're okay with that. They're okay with where they are and who they are. It's getting very dark, isn't it? I'm gonna pop the light on. You'll see that my pajama bottoms now, but never mind. That might be a little bit better. Yeah, so just that sort of uh, better awareness and understanding of human nature, accepting my own sort of limitations, and then acting from more of a controlled emotion rather than just going on gut, and also having that check and balance in place. I'm quite a mix of Queen of Pentacles and Queen of Swords. That is a good mix, though. I want to be the Queen of Cups, says Stephanie. But we can aim for that, can't we? And and lots of people, there's nothing wrong with that, but lots of people, when they say, "Who are you?" in the tarot, and they go with courts, they very often go with kings and queens. And I'm always like, wow, maybe I should. But then when I read about the Page of Cups, I feel like I'm reading about myself. And then when I did my Myers-Briggs personality type and seeing that, as an INFJ, then and that links to the Page of Cups, I was like, you see, it's proven. I'm the Strength card, have also made peace with my shadow and the mental health through compassion and acceptance of myself. And that's an amazing journey to go on, where you can accept who you are, limitations as well. It doesn't always have to be a negative thing to say, actually, I know where my strengths are and I know where my weaknesses are. And right now in my life, you know, I'm not ready for this. And you can still be pushing yourself in that direction, but it's okay to say, not right now. And that, again, that's that sort of King of Cups element of the check and the balance about your emotional state. So I can understand that, Simon. I used to be the Page of Wands for the longest time. Now I feel I'm more the Page of Swords, but always Page. Yeah, and that might always be the case, but you never know. You might get to, hi Jamie, by the way, you might get to a position where you do move to a queen or even a knight. I kind of see knights and pages on a par though, rather than a hierarchy. But question 4 is, draw a tarot card and tell us how it answers the question, what does the universe want you to know right now? What does the universe want you to know right now? I need to move my iPad out of the way. You should see my setup. It is much brighter now, isn't it, with the light on? I've got my laptop in front of me. I've got an iPad here with your comments on. I've got an iPad here with the questions on. That's very true. I'm not sure what's very true, but I'm the hermit, says Frank. Yeah, I've got a lot of hermit attributes, qualities. Hello, Deanne. How are you? Lovely to see you as well. Okay, what does the universe want me to know right now? Eight of Wands. What does the universe want me to know right now? I guess it's about focus. Why am I doing what I am doing? Where am I headed? But that question to consider, why am I doing it? Is there passion in it? Am I enthused by it? Am I doing what I'm doing for the sake of doing it? Have I really thought about where I'm going, where I'm headed, and why I'm headed there? Oh, this is food for thought. Aligning my outer journey with my inner convictions, I think sums up what I'm trying to say. Oh, did you all draw cards as well? If you're playing along, yeah, I think that's it. What's the purpose? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the purpose? Have I questioned why am I heading there? Do I have the passion and the excitement for what I'm doing, or am I going through the motions? And then aligning my inner convictions or my inner purpose with my outer journey. Quick sticks. Have you pulled a quick stick? Whatever one of them is. If anybody else has pulled a card, feel free to share them. And I'll move on to question 5. Because I'm halfway through, half an hour already. Do you have cards that you must love in order to work with the tarot? Yes, and I answered this 5 years ago today, and some hasn't changed at all. For instance, I'm going to try and find them now. Here's one that's a new one. I love the Two of Swords. Love it, but that wasn't in my original choice. Five of Pentacles, definitely, because Five of Pentacles was a visceral reaction when I saw the RWS version of the. I'm holding up the wrong card. Let me find the Five of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. Where are we? Why did I look at that and think? Because it was churchy looking. I thought, oh, Five of Pentacles. Oh, that was one that I mentioned before. That's another. Here it is. Five of Pentacles. We're there. That was a card where I was like, oh, my goodness. This is my life journey up until that point when I first picked up in 2008 an RWS card, and I was like, this is where I am in pictorial form. Having left an organized religion where family and friends were still the other side of that wall, and I felt quite battered and bruised from my experience out in the cold, making my way forward. It was just, yeah, it was quite impactful. Let me see if I've got them all. That one, obviously. That one. Where is the moon card? Don't tell me I've gone all the way through it and I can't find it. Talk amongst yourselves. I should have prepared and got them out, but it would have meant using another deck, and I wanted to use my RWS because I've just shuffled this and obviously used it for the draw for what the universe wants me to know right now. I can't find it. Have I already pulled it out? Have I already pulled it out? No, it must be in there, and it's hiding from me. The card is hiding within the deck. The death card. I always have to check the death card. I love the death card. Now that probably sounds morbid, but it's a very important card. It's a major card, so it's a major life lesson. But I like to see how it's represented, and some decks are really ingenious with how they depict the Death card, where it's not necessarily, some sort of Grim Reaper with a sickle or anything like that. Sometimes it's about one door closed, another one open. There's lots of different, variations of the Death card. The Page, because that's who I am in the tarot, so I always check the Page of Cups. I've already mentioned the Five of Pentacles. The Devil, I always check the Devil card. The Hermit, of course, because it's an important card to me, and I love to see how the Hermit is being represented. And the Hanged Man. For some reason, I've always been fascinated by the Hanged Man, and that sort of idea that sometimes we just have to press pause, take a step back, and look at the world from a different viewpoint. And sometimes that's the point when you're trying to see things, not just from a different perspective, but from somebody else's perspective. Because all of us are very complex, we're full of our own life experiences, and we often see the world very differently. And it can take a lot for us to actually, kind of. I used to deliver this in training. The best way to describe it, is if you've got two mountains, two peaks. You're stood at the top of one mountain, looking out, and you see the world laid out like a blanket in front of you, a beautiful vista. You're seeing it, but then 10 miles away, there'll be somebody else stood on top of another peak, and they're looking at the landscape, and it could be completely different. What's on our right could be on their left. It's the same world, but from a totally different perspective. And the only way we're going to see things from the other person's perspective is not to try and just imagine what it must look like for them, but it's to come down off our mountain, just temporarily putting our own beliefs and our own sort of thought processes and attitudes and behaviors and things like that just to one side, climb their mountain, stand at the side of them, and really have a look at the world that they're viewing, the world that they're experiencing. Here it is. It was hiding from me. The Moon card as well. I love the Moon card, and I love to see how the Moon card is depicted. So Death, Devil, Two of Swords, Five of Pentacles, the Moon card, the Hanged Man. These are all really important cards that I always check. They're not always deal breakers. If there's a few of those that I think are amazing and a few others that perhaps aren't so, then it doesn't stop me from getting the deck necessarily, but it makes me think twice. Let's put it that way. Hi, Joe. Nice to see you. Yes, Stephanie says, I love the Hangman. They have the ability to see things in another way. Deanne says, I will say that if justice is dynamic and stirs me a bit, I'm extra happy. Yeah, so the justice is important to you. Thank you, Cheryl. That's really nice. That's a really nice thing to say, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. And so many people here now. We've got 84. That's because there's some people watching in Facebook as well. So hello to everybody in Facebook, in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group, I should say. Okay, so the next question 6. Why tarot and not some other divination system? I guess my answer to that is it's not just tarot. I do use other divination systems. I really love Ogham. And I've got a beautiful, in fact, I can show you. I've got a gorgeous, this beautiful bag with some lovely Ogham staves, really nice, especially the ones that are all barky. Barky, is that a word? And the sound they make. Oh, I look at that one all gnarly and twisty. Um, some are thick, some are quite thin. But I love Owen. I love casting them. I love reading with them. They really connect me to this land as well, because I love runes, but runes are, Norse and German, whereas Owen is very Celtic. Um, I like Oracle. I've given up. I've got a few Lenormand, Kipper, Sibylla decks, but I've given up with. I appreciate the ones I've got, but I just don't have time to really soak in Lenormand because I just go back to tarot. I love playing cards. I read with playing cards. I like the hybrid kind of playing cards at the moment where they're tarot decks with playing card pips. I really like them. Yeah, and I've got charms. And what else have I got? That's divination dice, dominoes. I've got an amazing set of dominoes. Um, these are huge, but they're great for using for divination purposes. When Elle was here, when Elle and Sandra came, me and Elle played dominoes. Actually, played dominoes using these. We didn't have a lot of space as well, so it was very interesting. Oops, dropped my iPad. Sorry about that. So it's not just tarot, but why tarot over everything else? Um, when I hold a set of tarot cards in my hand, I really do feel that I'm connecting with something quite, that goes back through generations, goes back through hundreds of years. I like the history of tarot. I love the structure of tarot. I think it's perfect system in terms of how it's structured in majors, minors, and courts. Um, and just my own personal history with it. I was 16 when I first picked up a tarot deck, and they fascinated me. Particularly the RWS. I love it. I really do. They're familiar. They're friends. Each of those cards are so ingrained. I know them so well that they're just wonderful, and they reflect back. As I've mentioned before, for me, tarot is a mirror. And when I look there, I can see clearly. I can see more clearly. So it's like removing the kind of dust and grime off a mirror and seeing the situation reflected back at you in a very clear and crisp way. I love to combine Lenormand and tarot reading, but I also like to just use them separately, depending on the topic and the spread that I want to use. Yeah, lots of people mix divination systems. I think that's great too. Um, Question 7, halfway there. What's the first book you can remember reading about tarot, other than the Little White Book? Um, the first book, I mean, if we're talking about a book that you sit and read, then it'll be Rachel Pollack's, 78 Degrees of Wisdom, which was back in 2016. I read that. But actually, the first book is Tarot Bible. Now, this is a bit battered now. Even that protective film all came off, so I took it off, so it's a little bit sticky. But I bought this in 2008. So what's that now? That's 14 years, isn't it? And I just think this is a great little resource. Really, 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 really nice. Um, it's got everything in here. Everything. It's got the history. It's got about why to use tarot. It's about meditating with tarot images, the symbolic language, um, its structure, everything. And then really nice keywords, key phrases, and interpretations are in here as well. And there's so much in the back with spreads, Kabbalah, crystals, how to use with crystals, psychology, archetypes, talks about Carl Jung. Yeah, loads of information. And it's not that expensive. It pops up in the works every so often for about £5. But if you was to buy it from somewhere like Barnes and Noble, Waterstones, you'll pay around £15, maybe $20. Patsy says, can't remember the name of the book. It was from the library in 1992. Oh, and Yasmin says, I've just ordered the Tarot Bible. It'll be arriving tomorrow. Enjoy it. It's just a great book just to have on the shelf as a reference point. I did read it from cover to cover way back when, but now I just dip in and out. And not just about the keywords, because if you've been working with the tarot for a while, Facebook user, hi Simon, I have it too, but the newest edition, yeah, it's got a different cover, hasn't it? Sorry, because I don't know your name because it's just coming up as Facebook user. I think you have to kind of register and then it brings your name up. So that's not me being rude. Yeah, so it's a great little book, and I often tell people, when they're starting out, they say, "Oh, can you recommend a good beginner's book?" Yeah, just go with Tarot Bible. You won't go wrong. And I kind of learned the RWS on Tarot Bible. Question 8. What type of person would you like to sit down with for a chat about tarot? You can all guess, can't you? I bet you can all guess. Who do you think in the world of tarot I would like to sit down and have a chat with, dead or alive? I have a lot of the Bible ones, including tarot ones. Yeah, I've got a few. All the answers come flooding in. It would be Pixie. Yeah, I would just love to, that kind of that dinner party that we all talk about. We can invite people, dead or alive, to our dinner party. Pixie would be on that list for sure. I just wish, Pammy, says Kelly. I just wish. No, wish is the wrong word. I just think wouldn't it have been amazing to have been alive at the same time and hanging out in her circle? She lived a very bohemian life, and I just think I would have loved her. She seemed just so full of energy and life, real pocket rocket, and yeah, they're working on the stage and design and an artist and real champion of women's rights, starting her own kind of publishing company, and yeah, just really inspirational. But I just think she would have been amazing to know. So I would love to. And the questions I often get asked, well, what would you talk to her about other than just tarot? I would be like, firstly, because she converted to Catholicism, um, you know, is she proud? And I'm sure she is now, but towards the end of her life, did she have any regrets doing it? Because it's her lasting legacy. Without the RWS and probably without US Games, to be fair, Stuart Kaplan, you know, she's well known and she's got so many talents. And it is a shame that it's just the tarot that she's kind of well known for. And it's only, or through the tarot, I should say, because you can look into her works. And I've got the Anansi Stories, the book that she wrote. That's something else, an author of children's stories. Was she proud of the tarot and her work on the tarot? And what does she think to it now? You know? And the fact that her work is copied so many times, the influence that she had on the tarot is second to none, really is when it comes to, it is the most popular tarot deck. And not everybody likes to hear that, but it is, in terms of sales and things like that. It's not the oldest, but it is the most popular in the world. So I just want to know what she feels about it. And did she draw inspiration from the Solar Booster, and how much inspiration? Because there's 3 or 4 cards that you think, actually, that's very much like Pixie's work. She must have took inspiration, but it's not proven. And what else would I ask her? How much say did she have? because there's lots of kind of arguments and counter arguments that she was under the direction of Arthur Edward Waite, but he let her kind of have free reign over some of the suits and that sort of thing. I'd love to know how much was her influence, because she was basically erased, wasn't she? For nearly 100 years, it was known as the Rider-Waite deck. So her work wasn't even really credited that much. So, thank you, Amanda. Nice to see you again. Amanda is somebody I've met in real life as well as part of this journey. So, yeah, lovely to see everybody. Hi, Candy, and everybody else that's coming. We've got 87 for this time of day in the middle of the week. That's amazing. I was expecting a really small group, but it's lovely to see everyone. So we've got 15 minutes left. I've only just cleared question 8. So for those who have just come in, it's my 5th channelversary today, 24th of March. Started 24th of March 2017 with a video, which was a VR to Arwen Lynch, Tarot Tag 15, and I'm revisiting that that tag. Somebody suggested I did this in the Cup of Catch Cards on Saturday, and I forgot the name. But if you're watching this back, thank you for the idea, because it's fab. Question 9. Tell me, now this is the hardest one, and I can't answer it. Tell me about one YouTube channel that you watch and why. How can I single out one YouTube channel? Maybe 5 years ago, when I did mine, there wasn't the plethora of channels that there is now. There was a few, and I mentioned Kelly Bear in that original one 5 years ago, and Kelly's here. Kelly is also the first person I ever met in real life through YouTube. Kelly and I chat all the time. She's a very, very, very dear friend. So I will mention Kelly because she's a constant right from the beginning of my journey. I was watching Kelly before I even pressed the record button. But there's so many others, so many people here, Candy, and of course I watched Becca and Jen and Chris. And there's just so many people that I don't want to leave out. Jenna started around the same time as me, but I mentioned Kelly Bear, Kelly at the Truth in Story as well. Big influence on me and my channel. So there's just too many to name. But meow meow. Sorry, I've been cooking, which is why I've not been chatting. But I'm here. I know, and you did say that. But yeah, I remember the first time I landed on Kelly's channel, and first of all I thought, oh wow, a British person, because we weren't that popular back then. And then just loving her stuff and still do. How many tarot decks do you have? That question was asked actually on Saturday, and I did a count up, and that number hasn't changed because, believe it or not, oh yes, it has by one, which of course was Tarot de Saint Croix, which Sinead sent from Hazel Jane Tarot. So it was 704. So that now makes it 705. Question 11. Do you mix oracles and tarot when you read? So not in the sense that I think the question purports to. So I use oracles more as clarifiers, or if I just want a quick hit on something. So, and I don't tend to use oracle decks that are, the Hay House type. I tend to use ones that are more symbolic, like Antiquities or, Moonlight Oracle or something like that. That gives me a more condensed focus on a symbol or an archetype in particular that just kind of narrows that down. So I guess I combine them in terms, if I'm doing a tarot reading and I just want some clarification, then I'll pull an oracle card. But other than that, I'll use them pretty separately. So that's kind of how. Oh, here's Chris. I just mentioned you. How are you, Chris? Just about to get into my lesson, but I thought I'd say hi. Well, thanks for popping in. I said earlier that I'm only on for an hour because I want to have my dinner and settle down for your chat later at 9. So if everybody's around and you want to chat later, head over to Elemental Cartomancy, 9 o'clock, cards and banter. It's always nice to be over there with Chris. Question 12. Oh gosh. Have you ever created your own tarot card or deck? Now, herein lies the story, and I didn't know if I was going to share it or not. I can't show them because I'm not allowed to. And I remember when I answered this last time, I was like, no, there's nothing for me to add. I did team up with somebody back in 2019, and there was a Hermit's Cave tarot deck, which was based on Pixie's artwork, RWS tarot deck. But because the Five of Pentacles was such an important card to me, it was done through like a stained glass effect. And we did a very small number, which sold out within 5 minutes, which I was really pleased about. So we added another number. But the artist behind it used a back-in design that wasn't theirs, and I wasn't aware of that. So, and it was just kind of like a pattern design. But somebody said actually it belonged to like a gamer, gamers, and they do cards. So I approached this artist and said, hold on a minute, you said that everything was your own work or that it was free images, that sort of thing. And they shut up shop and disappeared. So I released a statement, and luckily I hadn't received a penny. I hadn't received a penny. I was sent some decks for, this is for you to keep, special edition ones, but thankfully, no financial exchange had happened. So I severed all ties with it, and I put a statement out, condemning what had happened and not to support it. So I felt a little bit burnt by that, and it's never really given me the confidence to go there again unless I was actually sat down with somebody in real life and I was describing what I wanted depicted and they was to draw it, and then I see them create the backs and I know that it's 100%, because it's a bit risky and it's a bit frightening when somebody contacts you and says, hold on a minute, the deck that's got your name on it has an image on the back design that's been used somewhere else. I was like, right, okay. But the only thing you can do in that moment is support that person and say, absolutely, this project stops until we get to the bottom of it. Thank you, Yasmin. I'm not going to mention the name of the deck just because I know there are some on eBay and things like that, and I don't associate myself with it. It's like I said, I didn't receive any money, and that's fine too, because then I would have felt really bad. So I'm sure they're out there. I think around 100 copies were sold, but not anything that I can advocate or promote. Question 13. Do you read for yourself? Absolutely, daily. I can't imagine my day passing by now without me consulting my cards. Usually in the morning to think about my intentions for the day, what I'm coming up and some things to look out for. And then if I don't fall asleep on the sofa watching somebody's chat, which happens quite a lot these days, I will look and do a reflection on the day and see what I've picked up from the day. Or to kind of look back and pick out some kind of learning points or some clarification points. Question 14. What are your favourite questions to be asked when you do a reading for someone else? I thought about this, the questions, oh, no, no, it's not about what I don't like, but I sometimes do that sort of, if I get questions, because I used to also have a kind of reading business, which I closed last financial year, just everything that was going on, personal life, with my job and everything was too much. If I got, that sort of question, what does Aquarius really feel about me? And I'll be like, oh, come on. And there are no daft questions, and you don't know where people are in their life, but my heart used to sink a little bit. So I guess my favourite questions to be asked are where people are taking some ownership for something or want to take ownership for something. So the last question is like, what do I need to do to improve to be able to achieve this outcome? Or, what do I need to sound is better now? Oh, was there something wrong with my sound? Clear now, clear now. Okay, I don't know how long I was out for with the sound, but everybody's saying it's okay. So what responsibility is mine? What actions can I take, or what do I need to focus on to be able to achieve this? Or they're the questions I like, or just general ones where they'll say, what's the year ahead looking like? What do I need to focus on? Because that to me shows that somebody is coming to the tarot for that sort of reflection and that sort of guidance rather than does Sagittarius will Sagittarius leave their partner and come to me? I'm like, go and ask Sagittarius. But no, in all seriousness, I like more kind of in depth. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the cards and see what it is you need to focus on to be able to achieve what you want. Sound went wonky just for a few minutes, Simon. All better now. Oh, I hope you didn't miss a response to one of the questions, but. And then the last question is, what's the craziest thing that's happened to you during a reading? And there hasn't really been anything crazy to happen to me. So when I said at the beginning, my answers have all changed bar one. It's probably this one. And it still sticks in my mind. And it was back in, 2003, maybe four. So coming up to 20 years ago, I used to read exclusively with soul cards, as I might have mentioned, and I used to do what was called psychic parties. Don't know why I'm doing rabbit ears for that. They were called psychic parties. And I used to take a load of things. So it would be, a few friends at a house, they'd have a few drinks, and I would go over and they would, do dowsing. So I'd take some dowsing pendulums. I used to talk a little bit about chakras and all that. And people could have some Reiki healing if they really needed it. Not once they've had a skinful of wine, but then I would go into a room and I used to say no more than around six people because it's draining. And at this particular one, there was about 10, maybe 12. And I was thinking, I'm going to be here hours. And this lady came in for a reading and she was asking loads and loads of questions. And I was really conscious at the time. And I was thinking, there's all these people behind her. She was like the second or the third. And anyway, I was kind of saying, we are going to have to wrap it up now, because there's other people waiting to come in. I hope I've been able to give you some help there, and some clarification. And right at the end of the night, as I was about, ugh, this lady come back in that looked remarkably like her. And she sits down and she was asking these questions, which were quite similar but not the same. And I said, didn't I read for you earlier, like 3.5 hours ago? And she says, no, that was my sister. And I was like, oh, that makes sense, that makes sense. Why wouldn't sisters come to a party? And it wasn't until after that Sarah, who was the host of this, she was like, did you realise you read for the same person? And she'd pretended to be her sister because she was not short on time, but she obviously felt that she didn't get, what she wanted out of the reading. So it came back round. But the strangest thing is, on reflection, when I look back on what the cards had said to her and the messages she got was almost the same as what she got again the other time around. I thought, well, that's something, isn't it? You know, she went to that expense. She went to all that trouble of, trying to pull one over, and she ended up getting pretty much the same outcome as she did the first time. How odd! But people can be odd, and I found it quite amusing actually. At first, I was kind of like, my God, because I was so exhausted. But it wasn't until you look back and you thought, wow, that's that's pretty intense to do that. But yeah, so there we have it. That was Tarot Tag 15 Revisited. I forgot to put that in the title actually. I might edit it and put that in the title. Um, which was really fun to go back and do 5 years on. All I want to say before I go is just a heartfelt thank you, because you've made, each and every one of you, whether you've left the odd comment, you comment a lot, whether we have communication outside of YouTube, via emails or messages, or your interaction in the Hermes Cave Facebook group, or whether we've actually met in real life, your your support, your unwavering support over the years has been incredible, and it is a blessing in my life. And for that reason, I don't regret at all starting this channel and the journey that I've been on. So just a heartfelt thank you from me, just to say, these 5 years have been a journey, but you've all made it a really, really special journey, each and every one of you. So thank you. All right, and then just a reminder, I did say last Saturday there is no cup of catch up and cards. This Saturday we have a family event on Saturday, an important family event that I need to be at. But I've still got two more decks from Destiny to review, which is Teddy Bear Tarot and the Linescape Next Generation. So I'll be doing them over the next few days. So thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for being here. It's been really lovely and a fun hour spending it with you all. And yeah, until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.